Ramblings of an old man. I'd like to talk about EVs. What a waste of time. Long story short, they're a false economy. There is a future, absolutely, in hybrids. There's a definitive future in hydrogen power. But straight out EVs like, the Nissan Leaf and those stupid little BMW things. Seriously, people, if you think you're doing the planet a favour, think again. Here's some facts for you. A study was done. They call it zero to completion. So the build of a EV from zero to completion has a larger carbon footprint and a larger pollution footprint than a standard mid-range, that's 2.5 litre or below, petrol or diesel engine built zero to completion. Let me explain. First up, you've got to mine all the lithium, etc., out of the earth for the batteries, okay? Are those mines run with EVs? No. We have diesel trucks, diesel or fuel-powered drilling rigs, etc. Okay, you've got the lithium out now. Yay. You probably use child labour in South Africa to do it too, by the way. Now, we've got to get that lithium over to the battery manufacturer, and that goes via a ship. Very large vessel, I might add. Is that an EV? No, afraid not. No, once again, we're looking at diesel. Yep, she's diesel powered, absolutely. Lord knows how many gallons an hour. Anyway, it gets to the factory. Lovely. Okay, so there is one of the main components of your battery. On top of that, you've got other structures within the battery itself, such as the plastic casings, all of the metal that's used, etc. None of that is mined EV. It is all fossil fuel mined. Okie dokie, there's your battery alone. Let's look at the tyres. Yeah, I know, every vehicle has tyres, right? Well, you can run a vehicle without tyres, but let's face it, not very well. Thing is, once again, tyres are made essentially from oil, rightio? Amongst it, you've got carbon, you've got the nylon, you've got the polyester, you've got the steel belts. These are all, and the steel beading, these are all components of that tyre, so that goes on the car. There you go, done. Now you've got the body and interior of the vehicle to fit out. Once again, you're looking at metal, which is mined from, obviously, the earth, just like every other car. I will certainly grant you that. But my biggest problem is this. As far as I can figure, it's as cheap or cheaper to replace that battery in an EV when it's dead with a new one rather than a reconditioned one. What this means is they're now stockpiling old EV car batteries all around the place. Well, when I say the place, I mean the world. Awaiting somebody to come up with a good scheme of being able to recondition them at a cost-effective rate. Now that's okay, that's fine, but here's the thing. A reconditioned battery will not last as long as a new one. So you think to yourself, okay, it's going to cost me 15,000 New Zealand dollars to replace my battery in my EV with a brand new one. Or maybe I can get a reconditioned one in the future for $12,000. Well, that won't last as long as a new one. You do the math, it's not rocket science, just buy a new one. Right, Have we not, as a species, have we not learnt our lesson with nuclear fuel? It's the same conundrum. Yay, we came up with this fantastic way of generating power, and also missiles and other things, through nuclear fusion and nuclear fission. Great, that's fantastic. Cannot do a damn thing with the waste. Same problem with an EV. Once those batteries are used up and have been recycled in the future, I'm thinking, and have been recycled once or twice, they're no good. What do you do with it? You can't do anything with it. You can't return the lithium back to the earth, can you? So what happens from there? Well, I certainly don't have the answers apart from don't build them. Simply just don't build them. Those people that are out there wandering around in their EVs going, yay, I'm saving the planet, think again, mate. You're not. You may think you are right on this day, but in the long game, you're not. You're not saving anything. If anything, you're compounding the planet's problems. Fossil fuels, okay, they're not the greatest. We know it creates pollution. Here's a little something I want to share with you about pollution. Let's go back pre-dinosaur. I'm going to use pre-dinosaur because it's dinosaurs that gave us what we now have, as fossil fuel. So let's go predate that, or even, in fact, let's go pre-human. If there was a forest fire through lightning or for whatever reason, that would have burnt and burnt and burnt until either A, the fuel ran out, i.e. the forest, or B, it rained hard enough to put it out. Now you think of the millions of tons of carbon that would have gone into the atmosphere unchecked for months on some of these huge fires that would have happened. And they would have happened. Along comes man who figures out, you know what? I think if I spill this water on this fire, it will go out. And sure enough, it does. So we made firemen. So now our forest fires don't go unchecked, generally speaking. They're put out within a reasonable amount of time, whereas in the past they would have burned and burned and burned. So we've cut down on the amount of pollution going into the atmosphere via fire, and we're balancing that out now with cars. That's the way I see it anyway. Hey, call me whatever you like in the comments field. No holds barred, doesn't bother me. I've got thick skin. But when you think about it, there's a balance of nature, right? At the end of the day, fossil fuels will run out. There is no two ways about it. It's going to happen. We know this. In the meantime, surprisingly, in today's late model fuel-powered cars, are actually a lot less harmful than what they were. So I guess my logic there basically is, at the end of the day, things are better now than they were. Yes, we're still using fossil fuels, but ultimately, what choice do we have? Here's another thing. Here in New Zealand, I can't comment about any other country, but here in New Zealand there's a big push for people to run EVs, right? Here's the funny thing. Our national power grid is already at straining point, and yet we're trying to put more strain on it. Now you see, that doesn't make any sense to me either. So somebody somewhere is making a hell of a lot of money out of this, and certainly it isn't me. Hydroelectric dams are the way that is acceptable here in New Zealand. We certainly can't run a nuclear power plant, none of us want it. Wind power, that's fantastic until the wind stops. Solar power, bloody great, but the moon's not very strong. So hydropower is something that we fully understand here. Now, a few years ago, there's a river down in the South Island where I am called the Waitaki, and a power company wanted to build a generation scheme off that river. And what they were going to do, and I thought this was an extremely good idea, was they would channel off, I believe it was 1/7 of the river flow into a canal. That would come down into the first generating plant, which would generate power. Then it would drop down into the next one and generate another one, drop down again into the next one. So you're using the same body of water 7 times. Now, that to me was frickin' brilliant. You are maximising, absolutely maximising the power of nature. But somebody came along and went, oh dear, oh no, can't do that. You might kill some fish. Good Lord. Kill some fish. Has anybody spoken to the Japanese lately, or the Taiwanese? You know how much fish they go through? Come on people, let's get realistic here. You can put gratings and so forth, and diversion gratings in place to stop fish getting through. Okay? It's not hard. It's not rocket science. But unfortunately, those people then won out that no, they wouldn't go ahead with that plan. Okay, well, fine. Now what are you going to do? Because the power system here in New Zealand is running at, is almost running at capacity. We have a coal-fired, that's right, coal, fossil fuel. We have a coal-fired power station in the North Island called Huntly. Now, that used to be what was known as a reserve station. So it would fire up only during peak times just to top off the national grid. Pretty much now it's running 24/7, right? Here's the dumbassery about it. The coal that powers that, we buy in from Korea, and it's pretty crappy stuff. Doesn't burn well, it's pretty untidy. And yet, in the last year, one of the biggest coal mines on the west coast of the South Island, called Hefe Mines, was closed down by the government. And it has one of the best burning coals simply in the world. So hang on, we're buying this crappy stuff in from Korea when we've got perfectly good coal that burns twice as hot here and can easily be put on a train, shunted to the North Island via the ferry system. Once again, it blows my mind. The logic behind all this just makes no sense to me whatsoever. I don't know, guys. The country we live in, the times we live in, the thought processes behind everything just blow my mind. They really do. Tell you what, somewhere in the government, which is currently a Labour government here in New Zealand, somebody somewhere is making money out of this that wouldn't make money out of it if it was all kept here in New Zealand. So the basis of running this country seems to be based on greed. That's what I take out of it. I don't know. Maybe I'm just wrong. Like I say, this is why the channel's called The Ramblings of an Old Man.